recognize that the things that I believe in very likely might take me away from being a father, from being with my son again, and I might have to go back to jail, I might be killed. But that is part of being a warrior.
If breaking the law and going to prison has to be a part of that process, then it's something you have to prepare for. As with all people fighting for a liberation struggle or for social change, you have to accept that it's part of that process, that is our job, that is our task.
I mean, Martin Luther King said all that, you know, that you got to expect it, you know, it's a sign of how effective you're becoming, you know.
Like the women's movement, like those who fought against slavery, what we've done is we've made this movement, this animal liberation ethic, now become a part of mainstream society, and that's impossible to imagine that could have happened without organisations like the Animal Liberation Front and others who use direct action.
And the system ain't going to sit back and let us do it, so they are going to demonise us. There's that saying, isn't there? First they'll ridicule you, then they'll attack you, and then only after that they'll accept you. We're the same people. This is the Animal Liberation Movement. We're about love and compassion. We've got an anger, we've got an edge. But you read about us now, and they want to, you know, they're starting to more and more, they're starting to call us terrorists.
You post on a website, or you say in a public lecture that you defend the Animal Liberation Front, that you support direct action, you are now considered to be an advocate and a voice for terrorism.
I've not done anything but have a goddamn website and a newsletter. Speech. I get 23 years in jail, possibly.
My girlfriend come back from Germany yesterday. They went to a fur demo, and on the way back they got pulled in and they were held under the Terrorism Act for 5 hours.
Let's applaud the FBI. Yay, cheer that. To cheer that is just like to spit and piss on the grave of Martin Luther King.
Throughout my years as an animal rights attorney, I've had the opportunity to meet several fabulous activists. I have met Kevin Jonas, who is the former president of SHAC, Stop Huntingdon Animal Cruelty. And I've actually represented SHAC on a few cases. I'm representing them now on a case. Kevin Jonas and other people are being federally indicted on charges coming out of the Animal Enterprise Protection Act. This is the first time anyone's been indicted under that federal act, claiming that these people are involved in a conspiracy. Recently, some FBI files were unsealed, and I was privy to them as an attorney, and read that I have been investigated by the FBI since 2001. Here is the affidavit, one of them, starting November 15, 2002, wiretapping. And this has everyone listed. I'm someone who is listed as a potential interceptor, violator. Here's where they say that my toll records were reviewed on my telephone, that my trash has been searched since 2001. Here it says that I've been placed under physical surveillance several times in Los Angeles. It discusses that I have been seen with other people during non-Title III consensual recordings. This is the National Crime Information Center, stating that there's a warning that I'm a terrorist organization member, animal rights extremist, although no prior criminal history.
We got a tip at Celebrity Justice, a nationally syndicated show, that this rock star, John Feldman, had his house raided by the FBI and local law enforcement in Los Angeles. So we interviewed him.
We were doing a home demonstration at this guy's house, who was running the shelters, the Los Angeles shelters at the time, who were killing something like 10,000 animals a month here and not educating people about spaying and neutering and not doing the right thing, just doing the cheaper thing. Save money, kill animals. We're protesting his house. I think some of the neighbors had written down license plate numbers. So because we were there, our car was parked in the street, and we were doing this legal demonstration, they had written down our license plate number, and a week later, the Animal Liberation Front had spray painted something on his driveway, and essentially his house got graffitied. But because of the whole, kind of the way things are now with this eco-terrorism or the whole Patriot Act. They got a search warrant. First thing in the morning, a judge signed it off just because they had a license plate number. I was, a suspect. But not only, they didn't just come to the house to just say, hey, were you there asking questions? They had a search warrant, and they're saying, if you don't open the door, we're going to break it through with a battering ram, which they showed me. I got home from the gym, I'm sweating from, cardio or whatever, and, next thing I know, there's 12, 14, you know, SUVs, unmarked vehicles, 2 cops kind of get out of the car, guns drawn, put your hands on your head, get out of the car. I see this helicopter come, you know, from behind, just like some crazy, like, I don't know, like a Bruce Willis movie or some shit. You know, I thought they got the wrong guy at first. I thought it was like, you know, they thought some, you know, drug lord or some porno, child porn. I don't know who would have done such an atrocity to warrant all these cars and helicopters and all this crap, you know. So if they said Mr. Feldman, I knew, well, that's me.
John Feldman and his wife Amy were both in total shock over the raid. They say that these law enforcement officials went through everything, including their underwear, and they felt very violated by that. They felt their constitutional rights had also been violated, all because Amy had picketed lawfully.
They didn't find their spray paint, you know, after spending whatever, their $300,000 or $400,000 of tax money that I'm paying, you know, to raid my house, and they found obviously nothing. They're, you know, obviously trying to silence me and to scare me into not speaking out for the animals and not speaking up against these, you know, huge, you know, multi-trillion-dollar companies that, you know, test on animals and kill innocent lives.
This is about more than just animal issues. It's about freedom of speech. We, as Americans, have a right to discuss the state of animals in this country. And it's an important issue. It needs to be discussed, and people have a right to picket lawfully.
In the end, we took them to court. We sued Santa Monica police, and we won. So here I am, and it made me, all it really made me do is just fuel the fire more.
It is just too horrific.
Funny to think I trusted you. Funny to think that I have spent my whole damn life supporting you. Funny that I believed in you. It's funny I thought that you'd be there if I should ever call on you. So now I'm jaded. Friends turn to enemies.
Please don't ever be afraid of staying radical. All the best people in history have been radical.
Now that I know you work for them, now that I know your life is based around such lies and corporate greed, you only believe what you are told. You only defend laws that are old because it's law, don't make it right. So now I'm jaded. Friends turn to enemies. All my life I've done what I've been asked. So who is right? The one behind the mask.
We don't face
This movement is speaking up on behalf of animals who can't speak for themselves. This movement is doing something unselfish. It's doing something that other movements have never done, because this movement isn't helping the people within it. It's helping the animals.
Okay, we set out to look for the drift net fleets. We found 6 Japanese squid drift net vessels in an area due north of Hawaii by approximately 1,400 miles. And we filmed them through the night as they were taking in miles and miles of nets, observing birds and dolphins and that in the net.
As far as people being willing to, you know, sacrifice their freedom or even risk their life to do these things, I don't see anything really unusual about that. I mean, pretty much throughout human history, people have made these kind of sacrifices, usually for less noble endeavors like real estate or people's oil wells. So I think that risking your life to protect a species is a much more noble effort.
Inflatable carries 4 police officers armed with machine guns, tear gas, bombs, over.
it's policemen. Why are they after you?
We've made it very clear to them that we have no intention of sitting idly by while they carry on with the slaughter of whales.
I think that protecting life always takes precedence over property, and it takes precedence over the law.
Sea Shepherd, this is the coastal vessel. You are under arrest. You are under arrest.
Well, we intend to stop them from going into the ice pack. If that includes having to ram them, yes, we will. Over.
You are still under arrest. Will you please stop your engine?
Wow.